like really hassled and harrowed and, going through all my problems that I was going through. And I should just come here, chill, just relax. I should come there, sit down there. When I see nobody here, just come, just sit down there and just be there. 15, 20 minutes and get up and walk away. I don't remember asking for anything, but I knew that she knows that why I am here.
She's like my own mother, and I speak to her like my own mother.
I get peace over here, and I just don't come to wish anything like I want this and that. I just get happiness. That's why I come over here.
I come to Mount Very Kind quite often. Not that I've asked anything anytime, but only to thank. And I find this place really peaceful.
When I become angry in my day-to-day life, I pray, and that makes me quite peaceful.
देवीला प्रार्थना करते की माझा मालक चांगला होऊ दे. मी तुला नेहमी येत जाईन दर्शनाला तुझ्या. पण माझ्या मालकाला चांगला होऊ दे. कॅन्सरचा आजार आहे त्यांना डॉक्टरनी सांगितलेलं आहे. म्हणून आम्ही इकडे आलेलो आहे.
18 साल से हम लोग संजान में रह रहे हैं. 18 वर्ष थी रही है हम. पर हमारो परमेश्वर ने ऊपर बहुत पेलू प्रेम से परमेश्वर ने हमारे ऊपर बहुत प्रेम से हमने बहुत वस्तु भरपूर थी છે એમ ભગવાનની પરમેશ્વરની દિયા હતી. હંમેશા આપ ચર્ચને અંદર આવીએ મોણ મેરીને અંદર અમે હંમેશા પ્રાર્થના કરીએ. જ્યારે બી ખરીદી કરવા માટે આવીએ પ્રાર્થના કરીને અમે અહીંયાથી જાય ત્યારે અમે ખરીદી કરીએ અહીંયા. એ હિસાબથી બહુ આનંદ આવે અહીંયા આવવાના સુકૂન બહુ મળે અમને.
सो ये मदर मैरी की महिमा है कि लोग आते हैं और अपनी श्रद्धा अर्पण करते हैं और मैं भी हर दफ़ा ये करता हूँ, हर रोज़ आता हूँ.
કેટલા વર્ષની મારી માનતા હતી. મારા કાનનું પ્રોબ્લેમ હતું, હાથનું પ્રોબ્લેમ હતું, મારા બાબાનું પ્રોબ્લેમ હતું, મારી છોકરીના હાથનું પ્રોબ્લેમ હતું. કેટલા ઘણા વર્ષથી માની ઈચ્છા માનતા કરવા આવવાની ઈચ્છા હતી, પણ મારી ઈચ્છા બધી પૂરી થઈ ગઈ અને માની એટલી દયા.
What does the New Testament, in particular the Gospels, tell us about the Mary we love so much? I will dwell on 4 aspects of Mary's life, each of them beginning with the letter C. Mary, the common woman. Mary, the chosen woman. Mary, the compassionate woman. And Mary, the courageous woman. The Mary described in the Gospels is no specially secluded person. She's introduced to us in Luke's Gospel as a village maid engaged, espoused to a man named Joseph of the village of Nazareth. She was betrothed like any other village maid waiting to be married. What is more is that when Jesus went and made his first appeal to the people of Nazareth, they threw it to his face that he could not be the Messiah because he came from so ordinary a mother. Mark chapter 6 verse 3 says it so powerfully.
किसी कहने से मैंने मान दिया कि मेरा हाथ पैर में बहुत तकलीफ, मतलब बहुत ही ज़्यादा था, तो थोड़ा आराम मिला, तो उसके लिए मैं आई मानत करने को आई.
कि भाई मैं आई हूँ ठेठ राजस्थान. मारा छोरा को पग टूट गया, मैं प्रार्थना करी ईशी पिता की, गॉड मेरी की, मारा छोरा को पग ठीक हो गया, 3 साल होगी. ईशी पिता परमेश्वर पर मैंने विश्वास है.
Further, Mary was the wife and mother of a carpenter, a worker in Nazareth, where a woman's life was a ceaseless struggle for existence from dawn till night.
हर इच्छा पूरी करते हैं मेरे बच्चों पर. उन्होंने आशीष किए, मेरे घर के ऊपर आशीष किए. मैं चाहूँगी हर बार वो मेरे घर पर आशीष बनाए रखते हैं.
When we look at Mary, dear friends, we can realize that our life too, like hers, can be hidden yet heroic, monotonous yet full of joy, struggling yet aglow with hope.
मी नवी मुंबई वाशीहून आले आणि माऊलीसाठी खास इथे सुट्टी घेऊन आले. माझा नातू त्याच्या गळ्यामध्ये 3 नाळ होते असे वेडे, तर त्याला बरं वाटत नव्हतं. तर डॉक्टरांनी सांगितलेलं की याची गॅरंटी नाही, पण तुम्ही ते माऊलीचे 9 हे केले शनिवार, त्याच्यामुळे तो चांगला झाला ना. आता त्याला 7वा महिना पूर्ण व्हायला येईल. तो एकदम व्यवस्थित आहे, त्याला कसली भीती नाही, खेळतो आणि व्यवस्थित एकदम झालेला आहे. त्या माऊलीच्या कृपेने मला म्हणजे बरंच काही मदत झाली.
She is God's highly favored one, as the angel proclaims her. Blessed amongst women as Elizabeth hails her in Luke chapter 1, verse 42. Listen to what Mary herself says in the Gospel. From this day forward, all generations will call me blessed. We are among those millions down the ages who have called her blessed. God chose Mary, but that is only the first part of the story. Mary said yes to this call of God. God invites us, but He waits for our free response. Mary's free response to God is contained in the account of the Annunciation described to us in Luke's Gospel. After asking for a clarification, Mary says, "Behold, the handmaid of the Lord, be done unto me according to your word." Her yes represents humanity's yes to God's call, to His free gift of Jesus.
It was 5th of May, 2001. It was a Saturday. As usual, I was praying at her feet when suddenly she tells me that I have to get a mammography done.
It's an overwhelming way in which Mother Mary reaches out to anyone who comes here. And you get solace in times of distress. You get forgiveness when you have sinned. And you also get courage when you're facing difficulties in life.
You can imagine my shock when the doctor detected a speck. She struggled to find it. And after a lot of time and doing an additional test the following day, she traced malignancy. But here again, Mother Mary came to my rescue. Exactly 3 days before my surgery, there was a young boy who was praying for me, and he came to me with a message. He said, "Auntie Joan, I have a message for you." And the message was, "I have cured you completely. I want your life." He said, "Auntie Joan, I don't understand the message, because it seems like the two parts of the message are in conflict, because when God's saying, 'I want your life,' I would imagine you're not going to survive." I realized that because almost 5 years before that, God was prompting me to give up my very lucrative career. I had a high position in Air India, and I was attached to my job, my career, and all the trappings that go with it.
As a priest, trying to help people who have a difficulty in their spiritual life, I have made very strong use of this place, getting them to encounter Mother Mary.
So I realized that I'm being cured completely, but there is a condition attached. And a day before going in for surgery, I went to Mother Mary and I promised her that after I finish with surgery and recover, I will not go back to that job. Today, I've dedicated my life totally to God. I teach the Word of God, I teach youngsters, and I share my experience to draw people closer to God.
Most of all, Mother Mary's interaction with Jesus, her own son, whom she decided she will make her guru. That itself is amazing in her life. She tried to understand what he was teaching. She followed him up to the cross. And that is a great ideal that we can all emulate.
We are grateful to Mary because through her, Jesus has come to us. She is the dawn that ushers in Jesus the day. At that time, there was a wedding feast at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. When the supply of wine fails, her eye is quick to notice the shortage, and she sets about doing something to remedy the situation. She does so in her own quiet, unruffled manner.
You see, our sight is limited. Mother Mary's sight is always 20/20.
मेरा इतिहास इस जगह से बचपन से जुड़ा हुआ है मैं शिवाजी पार्क के बीचेस पे खेला करता था, माहिम कॉजवे से आता जाता था, तो दूर कहीं पर एक टीले पर मुझे ये चर्च दिखता था और हमेशा दिल में इच्छा होती थी कि कहीं ना कभी मैं इस चर्च में जाना चाहूँगा। आकर्षित करता था मुझे अपनी तरफ।
It was in 2010 actually, when all was well with the world, and I had a small little boil, if you want, which had to be operated on. And so I went in for the mandatory x-rays and blood tests that normally happen before surgery, especially if it's on general anesthesia. And I got called in by the radiologist, who was very alarmed. Why was he alarmed? He found a huge aberration, a huge tumor in my chest x-ray. They suspected it was cancer.
My aunt was declared to be terminally ill. She was just given a few hours to live. She's the wife of a prominent surgeon in a very well-known South Bombay hospital. Her family was distraught. She has 3 children. And her husband was given special permission to stay in the ICU during her last few hours, and there she lay in a vegetative state.
हालांकि 2001 में मुझे मौका मिला यहाँ आने का। मेरे पिताजी बहुत बीमार थे। होली फैमिली हॉस्पिटल बहुत करीब है यहाँ से, जहाँ पे उनको एडमिट किया गया था। उनके पैनक्रियास पर इन्फ्लेमेशन हो गया था और 10 दिन तक वो आईसीयू में थे।
As you might imagine, when you go through, 4 to 5 days waiting, anxiously for a report, you do just about everything you can, including hope and pray for divine intervention.
Very often I have a very difficult case, and before going in for the case, I always make it a point to go to the mount and say a small little prayer. I think the serenity and the quietness of the mount itself brings a lot of peace and tranquility to me, and probably somehow or the other helps me in my surgeries.
Thanks to my wife's faith in the Basilica and the Mount and in Our Lady as an intercessor, I started to go with her in the evenings to the Basilica. And on one evening, I just felt drawn beyond going to the Basilica to go to the oratory. While I was at the oratory praying, I got this kind of message, for lack of another way to say it. I got this kind of a message saying that something similar happened to your father a few decades ago, and he was given a fresh lease of life. And the next day I went back to the Basilica, and actually I firmly believe that Our Lady is the best intercessor.
I ran to Mother Mary. I could not bear the fact that these children were going to lose their mother. You see, I had played with them. I had had many, many meals with them. My aunt had given me advice. She had been there for me. And as I was praying, suddenly I found myself fiercely demanding, you cannot take their mother away from these children. You can't. They don't have the strength to deal with it.
She teaches us to be sensitive to the needs of others. She teaches us further that part of our action is to take the situation to Jesus. At times, that is the only thing we human beings can do, to pray and leave the situation in the hands of God.
And the truth of the story is that when the results did come, it was absolutely clean. But beyond this experience, I think my faith and my bonding with Jesus has become a lot stronger, and importantly, a lot more meaningful, a lot more relevant to my day-to-day life.
पहले दिन जब हम उनको वहाँ लेकर आए, तब मैं पहली बार माउंट मेरी चर्च आया। मैंने यहाँ पर कैंडल जलाई, और उस दिन से लेकर आज तक छोटे या बड़े जो भी मेरे जीवन में पड़ाव आए हैं, अच्छे बुरे, माउंट मेरी का उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा हिस्सा रहा है।
She is always there for me, and that calm that I feel when I pray to her, I've never felt in my life before. So, I think that's one of the best places in my life that has made and touched me a lot.
उसके बाद ऐसे कई क्षण आए जब मैं सिर्फ कुछ मांगने नहीं, तो यहाँ उनके साथ बैठकर सिर्फ कुछ सुकून के पल बिताने भी आया। मेरे जीवन का एक हिस्सा है जिसको मैं हमेशा जहन में रखता हूँ, और जब भी मैं थोड़ा घबरा जाता हूँ, नर्वस हो जाता हूँ, एक बार उनकी शक्ल याद कर लेता हूँ और कहीं गायब हो जाती है वो।
Next morning, I got a call saying that at 7 o'clock in the morning, she turns to her husband, who's still sitting by her bedside, and says, "Darling, can I have a cup of tea?" doctors had said that she wouldn't live. The best doctors in Bombay. The family was gathered outside. And there she was at 9 o'clock having a piece of toast. What more can I say?
Right at the start of her life, she experienced the anguish of a woman who had difficulties explaining her pregnancy to her husband at a time when social norms were far more exacting than they are today. She would have been stoned to death for adultery. We see Mary at the foot of Calvary, the foot of the cross, unable to do anything for her son dying on the cross. We think of a mother at the bedside of a child dying of cancer. We think of so many mothers unable in any way to alleviate the sufferings of their loved ones.
म्हणजे असं झालं होतं की आमच्या गावामध्ये वारं वादळ पाऊस खूप आलेलं. म्हणजे कसं जसं म्हणतात ना, काळ आला होता पण वेळ आली नव्हती. आम्ही परमेश्वराची माऊंट मेरीची प्रार्थना वगैरे केलेली. त्या टायमिंगला त्या संकटातून आम्ही लोक वाचलेलो. म्हणून म्हणजे आमची इच्छा पूर्ण झालेली, म्हणून आम्ही दर्शनासाठी आलेलो की त्यांच्या कृपेमुळे आज आम्ही जिवंत आहोत.
What are her last words? We find them at the wedding of Cana when she tells the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." John chapter 2, verse 5. These are her last recorded words in the gospel.
So if we are close to Mother Mary, definitely we will be on our way to discovering Jesus more and more.
Her final advice to us as she leads us by the hand to Jesus. Do whatever he tells you.
It's not just something that's a part of me, it is the thing actually. It's given life purpose. He has now become, Jesus has now become a constant companion to me.
Our vision in this particular place is to extend a warm welcome, as well as we are thinking of having an building of exhibition of 20 mysteries of the Rosary, through which we hope to give the lifestyle of Mother Mary, her life as a mother of Jesus, and we hope that it will lead them to know Christ better and to be able to really enjoy the peace and happiness that they are seeking.
God, our Heavenly Father,